Make sure you pick up my 2 books that's in Amazon right now. The first one is Passive-Aggressive Racism and the System of White Supremacy. And I talk about in that particular book how the system of white supremacy really runs and on our daily lives here in America. In our latest book, 7 Steps to Decolonize the Mind, we go through those steps to try to deprogram you from the system of white supremacy. Make sure you can pick up those books on Amazon.com.
Introducing the African Diaspora News Channel app, your gateway to stories that's overlooked by the corporate mainstream media.
At African Diaspora News Channel, we cover stories that don't receive mainstream attention, and we serve as the voice to the global Black community. We are committed to informing and educating through the power of media, connecting the African diaspora one story at a time.
With our platform, we're helping to end injustice by exposing it.
Join us in standing for excellence in journalism and serving our community. Download the African Diaspora News app today.
Yes, 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 yes. Peace, 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 family. My name is Vicki Dillard, and I'm so pleased to be with you here today on African Diaspora News Channel. Thank you so much for tuning in, dear family. Family, I can't wait to share this story with you today. I know y'all have been used to me. If you follow me on some of the other platforms I've been on, in addition to African Diaspora News Channel, because I've been here a minute now, you all know that I will henceforth, even forevermore, expose and do content on your Black bootlegs and your members of the bootleg and all the rest of them that are determined to be the false prophets and the mouthpiece, watch this, for anti-Black white supremacist political parties. I don't care if it's coming from the Republican Party, because y'all know I don't discriminate, or the Democrat Party. The Democrats are particularly sophisticated because they have benefited, and I'm going to keep saying this, for decades, for more than 2 or 3 generations now, of the Black vote, typically on average more than 90%. And they have proven to use the power that we give them to change our condition and to give us tangibles. They have proven to have misused that power for everybody but us. So we've got to hold them accountable. Now, one of their modern little mouthpieces is Miss Angela Rye. Miss Angela Rye, she was a contributor on CNN for a long time. Apparently, they didn't renew her contract or whatever. Lord have mercy. These bootlegs and bootlegs, baby, they get fired or contracts not renewed left and right. Same with Tiffany Cross. Remember how many of y'all remember Tiffany Cross? She was on the she had a weekend show on MSNBC. And how many of y'all know Tiffany Cross was bringing on Roland Martin? He can't stand foundational Black American grassroots, Black grassroots media folks. Watch this. How many of you all know she was bringing Roland on back to back? And how many of y'all know right when she started doing that, before she left, she did a broadcast and specifically told her audience not to listen to us. And she named one of us in the Black grassroots independent media. How many of y'all know she did that? Well, right after that, baby, they didn't bring her back. She thought that she was going to stay in the system, and it didn't work. How many of you all know, same with Roland Martin? Roland Martin was on CNN. He was even on a big Black news network called TV One. Nobody wanted it anymore. Watch this. Baby, y'all keep getting rejected. Simone Sanders, y'all know I talk about her all day. Same with Simone Sanders, right? Simone Sanders tell black men to shut up before Joe Biden, before the election of Joe Biden some years ago, right? Y'all remember that? Remember, she used to work with Bernie Sanders, and then she forgot all about the liberal stance on stuff, and she jumped to racist Joe Biden. Family, she thought she was going to be press secretary about doing all of that shucking and jiving and all that linebacking. If you asking me why do I call her the linebacker, we won't go all the way there right now. I'm gonna have to do a different broadcast on that on this network, baby. Some of y'all don't know that when she decided to be an advisor, senior advisor for Joe Biden's campaign, I'm talking about Simone Sanders, before she got in with the White House. How many of y'all know that Simone, when Joe Biden was doing one of his campaign rallies, she used her whole voluptuous body, her beautiful voluptuous body, to go and attack, literally tackle, no exaggeration, family, tackle a non-dairy, non-violent protester. It was literally a non-dairy protester up there with a little placard. And she went up there, instead of letting security take care of it, she jumped and jiggled and did all kind of stuff on that platform and yanked that woman down, broke a nail, literally broke a nail, because she wanted Joe Biden to know that she was serious about defending him, and she wanted to make sure he was going to give her that job as press secretary. How many of y'all know White House did not give her the job for press secretary? She stormed out the White House. I'm bringing that up because I keep trying to tell y'all that all these black bootlegs think it's going to pay off to disrespect their people for the Democrat Party, only for them to either get fired from those Democrat-leaning networks or Democratic-leaning campaigns or associates. Talk black to me, somebody. Well, they're devastated now. How many of y'all know they crashing out all over the place after Donald Trump's election? Now, I'm not for Donald Trump. I'm real clear. I call a devil no matter what side they on. So don't get me twisted. But I'm not going to let you throw me for a loop to defend the Democrats to quote unquote save us from a Donald Trump. No, we need to hold the Democrats accountable also. And you do not get to deflect to a Donald Trump, baby. That's not how that works. With that being said, how many of y'all know that Angela Rye, every time she's on anybody's platform, she breaks down like she's in a therapy session. We got to pull out the couch. Family, she was on she was on a podcast recently, y'all. I'm gonna ask the team to get the podcast ready. I want y'all get ready, family. Get your seatbelts on. Y'all be thinking I'm exaggerating. I just did a broadcast some months ago on her breaking down because she admitted on her podcast that black folks not listening to them anymore. The grassroots, right? She bust out crying. How many of y'all know she crashed out on the Breakfast Club not too long ago again? She cried before that on another one. Watch this. She can't get this under control for nothing. Well, she was on a recent podcast. Y'all ready? Family, get ready to watch. Get ready to watch this clip of Angela Rye recently. Y'all ready? Watch this.
I'm very emotional. I think that I feel the obligation. I feel frustrated, honestly, with myself, because I spent so much time over the last couple of weeks just focusing on the half that I hate right now, like the half of the country that I despise. And I'm frustrated about that because you don't get understanding through frustration and hate. And I think that what I feel guilty about is knowing that there's an obligation to a whole other half, you know, of the country, and feeling like there has to be a conversation, you know, a come to Jesus, as they say, with so many people, because we are really not on the same page. And I am at a loss at this point for how to get there. And so I think you guys know I'm fiercely competitive over all kinds of ridiculous things. But what I really don't like to do is I don't mind saying I don't know. I don't mind admitting I don't know. I hate not knowing for an extended period of time and feeling like the overwhelm of I don't know where to turn to find the answer, right? Like, I don't even know if at this point people will be honest about their reasons for voting for the other side, or if they'll be honest about who they really voted for, because they probably know us or have seen us and wouldn't feel comfortable telling us the truth. So where do you go to solve an I don't know when you're not even confident that people will be honest with you?
Wow. Family, I'm going to ask you to do me a big favor. In addition to hitting that thumbs up button and sharing, can somebody put a little violin in the chat? Oh my goodness. Can somebody put a little itty bitty tiny violin? Do they have violin emojis? Can somebody find a violin emoji? And please, for me, please put the little violin emoji in the chat. Somebody cry me a river. Ma'am, it's been a month almost. It's been some weeks and some days, some months. I mean, about a month. It's some several Sundays for you to process this. For those of you who don't know, I live in the Wild Wild West right now, but I was born and raised in Mississippi, and down south, we got a little statement for the country folks that say, you know, it's been some months and Sundays. We got a little country saying that says it's been some months and Sundays, baby. And she's still out here. Ma'am, I feel like it's an intrusion for us to know she all that. Now, for those of you that don't know, yes, I'm a girl. Yes, baby, I cry, I get emotional, I get angry, I get upset. I will do all that. But I look at you crazy when I start seeing you weep nonstop for our open enemy. I had to hit the gavel on that. For those of you that don't know, the Vicki Show is the home of the hand claps and the gavel raps. When you start weeping and crying uncontrollably for our open enemy, baby, I'm going to give you this everlasting word. Because that's not where the tears ought to be shed. Something is the matter with you when it causes this kind of reaction over a duopoly political system that can't stand us. And a Democrat Party in particular, who we've given our vote to overwhelmingly for so many decades and generations, and they've done nothing for us. What's wrong with you? How many of y'all saw recently where we did broadcasts, and I don't know if it was Brother Phil or somebody else, talked about this too, I think. How many of y'all know, I could be wrong, but I know I was talking about it. How many of y'all know that Angela Rye and her group, her buddies on another podcast, and she's a co-host with Tiffany Cross and what's his name? Andrew Gillum. How many of y'all know they were just admitting and confessing on their podcast the behind the scenes stuff of the Democrat Party being real shysty, misusing money, and really trying to shut down Black voices? They acknowledge how dirty the Democrats are secretly behind closed doors. Now that they've lost, they start leaking out all this little dirty information. Now folks are talking about how Kamala Harris mismanaged $1 billion. And actually, when I look at other reports, they say if you include the other Democratic PACs, if you don't know, for those of you that don't know, PACs are groups or organizations that can actually raise money and funds for a political party. So even though they may not be specifically under the official Democratic National Committee or one of those similar organizations, they can have a PAC that's basically benefiting the Democrats. When you look at those numbers, it's close to $2 billion based on reports I've seen. If you include the PACs that was pushing for media attention and all this other kind of stuff on behalf of Kamala Harris winning the election and she still lost. Well, if they're admitting that the Democrats can't stand even them, the most faithful of Black bootlegs, and if she makes these admissions and stuff, why is she sitting up here crying? Let me tell y'all something. Don't you all know and believe that one of the major reasons why she's probably breaking down like this is because them Democrats had jobs lined up for the White House? Baby, they are devastated because it's the job loss. Angela probably reimagined herself back in the White House. She was imagining her desk. She was imagining what it was going to be like to go to one of those Congressional Black Caucus brunches. She was imagining what it was going to be like for her to sit there and chat with her buddy Maxine Waters all over again, and for them to talk about strategies and to gossip about behind the palace intrigue stuff that happens. That's all that is. They're devastated because they was already talking to Simone Sanders and the lady at MSNBC with the hopes of getting, little speaking engagements and stuff on the networks. Family, they are devastated because they really had these jobs, many of them, we believe. They had these little jobs and stuff lined up. But I want to draw your attention to the fact that this thing is so serious that almost a month after the election, watch this. She says she hates half the country. Y'all, some of y'all, how many of y'all remember me some years ago doing a broadcast on Angela Rye because she attacked Minister Farrakhan? How many of y'all know when she attacked Minister Farrakhan for them folks? Y'all know who them folks are. Do y'all know that when she attacked Minister Farrakhan, she said that he's tricking off his legacy? That's her words she used. And she called him dumb and a bigot. Did y'all hear what I said? And in that same podcast that she was on with Charlamagne the God, do you know she defended Joe Biden in that same podcast? That was a few years ago. So while she beating up on one black man that loves and defends black people, she's elevating and defending Joe Biden. This is before he became president again. This was a few years ago. She bust out crying because she said she's an honest person and all that. Did you notice when she said that she just don't know if everybody's going to be honest about who they really voted for and what's really going on? She don't know which way to go. She don't know really what happened. Angela, you were disillusioned because you are a liar. Y'all listen. One example I want to tell you all. We who are in Black grassroots media, the average Black man and woman made it real clear what we wanted for us to show up. The reports are out. The numbers are out. The statisticians have spoken. The demographers have spoken. What have they spoken? A large number of their most faithful bloc, if we had showed up, they could have won. They took us for granted. Some of us voted for Trump, and some of us stayed home. A lot of our folks that voted for Trump voted for him or for certain policy issues that they felt was better than the Democrats. But I know an overwhelming number of our folks that voted for him said they were trying to do whatever they could to punish the Democrats. Now, I know some of you are all going to say, well, that's not right that Black folks do that. Let me tell you something. What were the Black Democrats warning the Democratic Party about this whole time? 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, almost 60 years. How many more years should we get a Democrats, Black family, when they're not listening to their Black constituency? Some of y'all got grandmamas the age of how long and granddaddies. That's the age of the number of years that we've been voting for the Democrats and they've done nothing substantive for us. Watch this. In recent times, I want to just give Angela Rye, since she says she don't know what to do now, so she's claiming she doesn't know really if folks are going to be honest about why they voted the way they voted or why they stayed home. She gave us a disturbing confession. She said she hate half the country. Ma'am, a lot of Black folks couldn't stand Joe Biden with his racist self. We don't understand how you could have such a disdain for Trump, but love and defend Joe Biden when Joe Biden was the one that signed the legislation that's directly connected to having destroyed in recent history at least 2 generations of the Black family. That's what we don't understand. We're not understanding why tears aren't uncontrollably shed. When you hear Joe Biden refer to Black folks in a sense of jungle, when he was for busing, when he was basically referring to us as basically animals to justify his legislation. We don't understand why you don't shed tears for that. We don't understand how you're okay with us sending hundreds of billions of dollars to Ukraine in the past few years under a Democrat Congress and a Democrat White House. And them giving the Asian Pacific Island community members under the Democrat, as soon as Joe Biden and them took office, both the Republicans and Democrats overwhelmingly passed legislation to give a crime protection bill for the Asian community. And separate from that, they redirected millions of dollars that was already in the government to just their community. We don't understand how you can shed tears because Trump is fixing to go to the White House and you mad that your Democrat didn't win. But your Democrat Party sold us out in recent history to help and to bless all these other communities to get them legislation, crime bills, protection bills, and millions of dollars for just their community because they claim that during the pandemic, they claimed that they experienced more racism. How many of y'all know about that? How many of you all know that after the census was in, they had to modify the numbers that was originally reported because they found out that statistically some of the numbers of the claims where the folks in the AAPI community claimed that they was being racially attacked, that in some states, in some parts of the United States, do you know that those numbers statistically didn't change and they had to end up modifying it? but the number one attack group for racial attacks still was black folks? How do we found America, create America, sustain America? And under the Democrats in recent history, they get tangibles and a protection law that we technically still waiting to get. Angela's claiming she don't know what to do. That's what you can do, ma'am. Can somebody tell her that's what you can do, ma'am? If you want to turn out the black folks that could have made the difference in this election, that's what you need to do, ma'am. This woman is delusional. I'm not going to be before you long, but I will be strong, fam. I just want to remind Sister Angela one more thing that they can do. I'm reading from this article here that's headlined, Apology, but no cash payments. California reparations for slavery start incrementally. How many of y'all remember just a few months ago how we were backstabbed by the Democrat legislature in California, separate from our demand for the federal government to give us reparations? How many of you all know there have been uprisings in different states for reparations payments and reparations tangibles? Well, California was pushing forward very, very strongly. And some of the black legislators in California whose name was actually on the reparations bill, they reneged on the bill where their names are on. Governor Newsom, a white governor, a so-called white liberal governor that's supposed to be about the people, that's supposed to love black folks. We're told he threatened the black legislature up there not to bring the reparations bill to the floor after they had already done all this work and prepared for it to get to the floor. How many of you all know that right before the elections, the Democrats, I say Democrat, your liberal Democrats in California, Angela Rye, betrayed their black constituency and refused to push forward the bill. And your Democrat governor, we're told, is the one that actually threatened them not to sign it. Angela, don't you know that you can't backstab a large number of your black voting bloc over reparations when we've made it clear that's what we want, and that's one of the hottest issues amongst black folk throughout the United States, and you backstab us like that? Do you think that we're finna show up, ma'am? No. This article says, when the California Reparations Task Force released a 1,000-page report last year addressing the effects of systemic racism on black residents, it made headlines with ambitious and comprehensive recommendations, including forms at every level of government and cash payments with an eye-popping price tag. This says, now, acting on the recommended framework, California Governor Gavin Newsom signed a package of reparations legislation, including a formal apology to African Americans for the state's role in perpetuating slavery and its legacy, and budgeted up to $12 million to pay for it. State lawmakers touted the handful of bills as a significant milestone, but the bill's disappointed advocates who have been calling for more aggressive action. The efforts amount to a small fraction of what was needed for cash payments for descendants of slavery or for other forms of monetary redress like subsidies for education or home ownership. Still, California's effort to mend harms endured by generations of black Americans as a result of slavery and institutionalized racism is considered a model for the rest of the nation. I'm skipping here. The long and short of it is, instead, family, it says that Gavin Newsom wants to give a formal apology, but no cash, no tangibles. Quote, I think that was a good start, said State Senator Stephen Bradford, Vice Chair of California's Legislative Black Caucus, who sat on the Reparations Task Force. But I think we could have really done more, especially at this time. And you know, the urgency of now is here. He's talking about the way they've amended everything that's going on now. It talks about how out of the 14 bills proposed by the Legislative Black Caucus at the beginning of the year, 8 made it to law. There's much more to this piece, but I just wanted to bring this up to remind folks that it was the Democrats in a very large state, California, that has a whole lot of delegates and a whole lot of votes that the Democrats definitely needed. Black folks back California sat at home because a few weeks before the elections, you all gave us the Democrat middle finger and said, we're not going to pass this for you. You sabotaged it. I'm just giving Angela Rye some ideas here since she's claiming she don't know what happened. I'm almost done. I want to give her one more reminder on what the Democrats did to undermine us for years. I'm reading from an AP report now with the headline, Chicago's response to migrant influx stirs long-standing frustrations among black residents. Since Angela claims she don't know what to do. She don't know which way to go. She don't understand how they lost. She's disillusioned. She's crying, snot coming out, practically. Every time she's on a podcast, month after the election, she's still hollering and screaming. Y'all know I'm adding my little 2 cents to that. What does this headline, what does this article say? I'm skipping around here. It says, Black residents are frustrated that longstanding needs are not being met while the city's newly arrived are cared for with a sense of urgency and with their tax dollars. Quote, and this is what I want to make a point to Angela Rye and the Democrat Party. Our voices are not valued nor heard, says Genesis Young, a lifelong Chicagoan who lives near Wadsworth. I'm going to say it again. Black residents are frustrated that long-standing needs are not being met while the city's newly arrived illegal migrants, that's me putting that in there parenthetically, are cared for with a sense of urgency and with our tax dollars. What did Miss Genesis Young say? And I'm quoting Angela Rye and the Democrat Party, who's disillusioned, acting like y'all don't know where to go and how to win anymore. She told you the answer here. What did she say? Our voices are not valued nor heard. Chicago is one of several big American cities grappling with the surge of migrants. The Republican governor of Texas has been sending them by the busloads to highlight his grievances with the Biden administration's immigration policy. I'm going to stop there. Y'all know we've done many broadcasts here on this very network breaking it down. It's not that we have some hate for people that are from other countries. We are disgusted by how in the world can we be strung up on trees in the United States, body parts eaten, bodies mistreated, endure chattel slavery, endure convict leasing, endure Jim Crow, and too many other forms of anti-Black oppression and torture. And you not give us $1. But with urgency and with our taxpayer dollars, you spit in our face. And won't even give us reparations? Won't even give us any other form of tangibles? You're not seriously talking to us about foundational Black Americans getting tax benefits that everybody else does? Or y'all ain't even trying to come up with no other alternative tangible package that we can sit down and have a real conversation about. And she wants to sit here on everybody's podcast couch and cry. Ma'am, you can keep crying. You can keep playing dumb. But this sister just told you what the problem is. All the way leading up to the election, it was the Democrats in Chicago, family, that did what? Didn't they change the rules because so many Black Chicagoans were showing up to all of the political meetings? Y'all know how y'all love to try to tell us how Black folks need to be politically engaged. No, you don't like how we're politically engaged. Because there was so many Black folks that was politically engaged in Chicago, you all changed the rules. Your mayor, Mr. Brandon Johnson, he made a proposal to change the rules so that regular Black Chicago citizens couldn't flood the hearings. So y'all tried to change the rules so that they couldn't be on the same floor or not as many people, and you had to go in the overflow rooms. Did he also propose that you had to have IDs? The same Democrats that said Republicans are racist if you have to show an ID for Republicans proposing to show ID to vote. Those Democrats were the ones that tried to change the rules to say, hey, if you come to these meetings, you got to have ID. Government issued ID. Then you all tried to add on to that, and you have to register early so we can scrutinize you before you get here. And then a government watchdog agency communicated with y'all's mayor, his office, and told him, sir, these proposals that you're making are likely illegal. So then your Democrats retracted it. You all were threatening your Black constituency there. I'm saying all these things to let you know it was the Democrats that sabotaged the reparations package in California. It was the Democrats that sabotage your Black citizens in Chicago. It's the Democrats that keep undermining us throughout the country. So, Angela, perhaps If you cut the check, somebody say cut the check. Perhaps if you stop putting other people groups before your most faithful and loyal constituency, and you start talking to us about real, tangible policies, you don't have to be sitting up on nobody's couch crying nobody a river, man. We don't have to keep being subjected to these therapy sessions or something that you ought to be confessing to a priest or something. Talking to your girlfriends about. I can't wait to hear what you all have to say about it. I just want to throw out those few proposals because this is getting old right now. And not just old, embarrassing. Not just old, not just embarrassing, but it's cringy to watch. And I'm a girl. I cry, I get upset, I get angry, I'm emotional. But God is forbid you see me up here crying and weeping over our open enemy. No, baby. No, 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 no. Something is really, really the matter with you. When every time we turn around, we see you crying over our anti-black party. No, baby, something is really the matter with you. You need help. A kind of help that I don't think most of us can provide in the universe. My name is Vicki Dillard, beloved. Be sure to comment below. And of course, family, share the broadcast. Share. I can't wait to see you again. I'll be doing a few more lives a few times a week here at African Diaspora News Channel, of course, providing other content as well. Be sure to check out my school, my monthly mastermind school. Very affordable. It'll shape your life with my spiritual content that I give you at VickiPlanet.com. That's my website, VICKIPlanet.com, VickiPlanet.com. Of course, share the broadcast here from African Diaspora News Channel. I can't wait to see